My name is Dr. Terry Jones, is of the devil. My name is Dr. Terry Jones, is of the devil.
It is said to be the largest child porn bust in Polk County history. The sheriff's office dubbed it Operation Defender. Deputies seized more than 100,000 pictures, many including children. News Channel 8's Chip Wasowski has more in tonight's 8 on Your Side Crime Tracker report.
There you go.
One by one, sheriff's deputies rousted the men out of bed early this morning. In all, they took 16 into custody. 3 others were already in jail. Sheriff Grady Judd calls these guys the worst of the worst.
I'm being very circumspect in what I say. I could really get loose with my words and say some very ugly things here today because this is absolutely repulsive.
The sheriff says the average age of the kids in the child pornography these men possessed was between 7 and 9 years old. The youngest was 1 month old.
They had photos and movies of adult males with very young children. They had photographs of very young children having sex with other very young children. They had photographs of very young children having sex with animals.
Sheriff's officials loaded the men they picked up this morning into a van and carted them off to jail.
Tell us about a little bit about yourself, maybe things you didn't say last week about your coming to Islam.
Well, yes, when I first was introduced to the subject of Islam, I was not interested in a new religion. In fact, I was very happy with what I had, and I was trying to convert a Muslim to become a Christian.
Because you were a pastor.
Well, I was a preacher. There's a difference.
Okay, you're a preacher.
Pastor is much, I think, more dignified than me. I was just a person out preaching the word, you know.
And a musician.
Very much a musician.
And this is your life.
Putting it all together, trying to call people to the Lord, etc. Along the way, the man said something to me that struck me really hard, because he realized that I was proselytizing from day one. 3 months into it, we were working together, and he knows I'm trying to convert him. He could see in every discussion, every argument, that all I'm trying to do is do what? Just convert him. Well, he told me at one point, he said, you know, I'll go to your faith. I'll be a Christian if your religion's better than my religion. And I said, whoa, wait a minute, I've got him. I've got him where I want him. I got the fish on the hook. Because, as we're going to cover in this program, there are a lot of things you have to do to be a Muslim. Oh, yeah. A lot. We'll talk about it. But one thing was, I said, from what I'd heard from him and seeing him 5 times a day doing his rituals, I said, you don't have to do that in Christianity. You don't have to fast an entire month. You don't have to give something called zakat to the poor. You don't have to. It's nice if you do. And you don't have to go halfway around the world to go to a box in the desert and do all these rituals. You don't have to do that. And you don't even have to be nice. It's better if you do, but you just want to be a Christian. It's pretty simple. You know, really, it's what you say.
Yeah.
But then he finished the sentence. He said, I'll go to your faith if it's better than my faith, but you'll need proof. And I said, man, religion has never been about proof. It's about faith.
That's it.
That's what religion is. He said, in Islam, we have both. We have proof and faith. And listen to this. I said, you mean to sit there and tell me as a Muslim that you can prove there really is a God? And he said, do you mean to sit there and tell me as a preacher of Christianity that you can't? And what about when Allah tells us about the Bahrain, 2 seas, where the 2 seas come together, same surah, same chapter. He tells us about that. But they don't mix. They can't mix. And when Jacques Cousteau, the eminent scientist from France, discovered this amazing situation where the Mediterranean feeds off into the Atlantic Ocean, these 2 big seas coming together, but they have 2 different salinities, different amounts of salt, 2 different temperatures, 2 different densities, 2 different life forms. Not the same. And when they come together, that one stays inside of the other, but they don't mix. And when he got ready to talk about that, he had a Muslim on the boat with him, and he said, we already know that. That's in the Quran 1,400 years ago. Oop. Yeah, we won't make that then into anything. Then, when this book talks about when the river of sweet water pours into the salinity of the salt water, and they don't mix. And you go to the Mississippi River, and you find the same thing that it says right here. And it talks to us in here about the stars. It talks about the moon and the sun and the earth and everything that Allah created, and describes them in detail, and tells us that the earth is doing what? Kawi. Turning. The same thing like when you make a turban, kawi. Turning. The earth is turning. And nobody believed that back then, because you don't feel the earth turning, do you? So we assumed that the earth was the center of the universe and that the sun was going around us, what we thought. But it mentions that even the sun is in orbit. The earth is in orbit. How could the sun be in an orbit? But guess what we found out? It's in an orbit. The sun has an orbit. It's not being still. And the moon is going, the earth is going around the sun the same way the moon is going around the earth. All of it's moving, swimming. And Allah uses this, swimming. Who is telling us this? The Rabbil Alameen, the Lord of the worlds.
People turn to religion to help them cope in the days after the 9/11 attacks, and some even chose new faiths, including Islam. That may be no surprise, since a quarter of the estimated 6 million Muslims in the United States are converts. Delia Gallagher looks at two people who chose that path.
وأشهد أن محمد.
Alison Poole says this phrase 3 times in Arabic and then in English.
There is no God but God.
And I bear witness
that Muhammad
is the messenger of God.
An American woman who converted to Islam immediately after 9/11. Find out why. Meet her next. Well, she was the girl next door, blonde hair, blue eyes, a practicing Catholic, but after 9/11, she found herself drawn to Islam, a religion she says empowered her. Or what does she think of radical Islam and the folks who want to kill us? Angela Collins is the director and principal of the Al-Rida Academy. It's a school for Muslim children in Southern California. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Tell me a little bit about why and how you made this transformation.
I traveled a lot abroad across the world. I went to India and through the Middle East and met Muslims everywhere. And the people that I met were so genuine and generous in their nature. And I wanted to learn a lot more about them. So I came back to the States, I met Muslims here, and they became my friends. And then 9/11 happened, and our entire country pointed their finger. They blamed Muslims, of course. And I had an opposite experience of knowing these people, so I spoke out against it. But then, of course, I'm challenged, and people want to know what Islam really teaches, and I didn't have that knowledge. So what I did is I picked up aKoran, and I started reading, of course thinking, here's a book that discriminates against women, does not give them their equal rights.
This is the story of 3 Chicagoans, all raised as Christians, all who decided to ultimately reject that religion.
Internet is down.
Nadira Rodriguez Muhammad grew up Catholic, but found herself constantly questioning the long-held beliefs of her family.
I always felt that something was missing for me.
Ian Bushner is a law student at the University of Chicago.
I felt like that there wasn't a God.
Whitney Nichols is a new Loyola grad who grew up in suburban Streamwood.
I guess what I was really looking for was what felt most natural and most logical to me.
There are an estimated 1.3 billion Muslims worldwide, and most are not Arabs. Here in the United States, while the Muslim contingent numbers an estimated 7 to 8 million, it's growing rapidly. 20,000 new converts each year, 4 times as many women as men.
People coming into Islam in Denmark in numbers that we have never seen before. When I took Shahada nearly 25 years ago, we were only about 10 or 15 of original Danish Muslims. Today, there are thousands and thousands of Muslims of Danish origin, and every week
Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, who were they? Matthew who? Mark who? Luke who? And John who? What were their last names? When did they write? Did they know Jesus Christ? Did they walk with Jesus Christ? Did they eat with Jesus Christ? Did they talk with Jesus Christ? Did they even meet Jesus Christ? The answer is no, 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 no. Conclusively. The earliest of them that wrote 40 years after Jesus Christ, so they never met him. The last of them wrote 80 years after Jesus Christ, never met him. The other thing is, all of them seem to have written the gospel according to. Now, when you write a letter, do you sign it according to? According to is the third party. If Joanne or Jackie or Bobby or Johnny told me something and I wrote it, I would say according to Joanne, Jackie, Bobby, or Ronnie, according to. But those four people would not write a letter and in front of it say Jackie according to Jackie and not even write her last name. Because if Jackie wrote me a check and only said Jackie, I couldn't cash it. And if I was a policeman and I stopped Jackie on the road and she had a license that only said Jackie, she's going to jail. Where in the world is a document with only one name of four different writers that did not meet the one whom they're writing about? Where is that accepted in the whole world? Nowhere except in the Bible. Jesus Christ did not say, I am God, worship me. Now, if there's a Christian in this room that can tell me that Jesus said in his own words, not Matthew, not Mark, not Luke, not John, not Paul, but Jesus said, I am God, worship me, then we will raise $5,000 for you tonight before you leave. Break your Bibles out. Call somebody up. Go make...
And they say, be Jews or Christians, then ye will be rightly guided. Say unto them, O Muhammad, nay, but we follow the religion of Abraham, the upright, and he was not of the idolaters. Say, O Muslims, we believe in Allah, and that which is revealed unto us, and that which was revealed unto Abraham, and Ishmael, and Isaac, and Jacob, and the tribes, and that which Moses and Jesus received, and that which the prophets received from their Lord. We make no distinction between any of them, and unto him we have surrendered.